You know what I mean? I'll give y'all my experiences so that you could kind of create your own way and figure out what your experiences are. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people ask me about this book, like a lot of people. So I would say the most important phase of the creation process is getting your mind right and committing to completing the actual book. Now, what I mean by getting your mind right is really understanding your audience, understanding that this is really doable. Like this is something you can see through from start to finish. You can write it down and envision it from start to finish and know exactly what the steps and stages are. So you have to get to that point. You have to have convinced yourself that you are about to do this, it can be done, and it's worthwhile to be done. So in order for you to answer those questions, worthwhile to be done, what are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Who's your audience? You know what I mean? What you'll find out is that probably your expectations of writing a book are not what makes a successful book, or is not exactly the way you should be thinking. Like a lot of people they start writing and they turn into somebody else and they start trying to make a book, like a book for the entire fucking world. Like your book isn't for the entire world. Your book is for a specific niche audience. What is that niche audience? However you pronounce that fucking word. But what is your audience? Who's your audience? Who are you speaking to and what do you want them to know? And then do that. Speak to them and let them know what you want them to know. You know what I'm saying? What you'll realize is in this day and age, that's a successful book. It's a successful connection between the person delivering the information and the person receiving it. So the more pristine and pure and organic that connection is, the more successful the book is. It's just like that because it's going to impact the person. If you're speaking to everyone, you're not speaking to me. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? If you're addressing everyone, you're addressing no one. So know who your niche is, and then talk to them. In this type of setting, like I have a person specifically in mind who is in the motorcycle set, they're in a motorcycle club, they're in the outlaw club. I don't know what they're about to do. I don't know what they're about to talk on, but that alone, like I just broke levels down of how precise your audience is. Like the motorcycle community, the outlaw motorcycle community. And then, you know what I mean? So you can get that specific with it. And when it's that narrow, then you have a concentrated way of talking and it's gonna hit. You know what I mean? It's gonna hit with impact. It's like a shotgun versus a sniper rifle. Like you can shotgun blast, but it's not gonna go far. It's gonna hit, it spreads, but it's not gonna go far with a lot of impact. But you get that sniper rifle and you know who you're aiming for, bam, you drop them every time. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of mind frame. So that's that. Getting your mind right is the first and most important step, I think. Convincing yourself to complete the project. Then once you've convinced yourself, you start doing the research and doing your homework, and you treat it like a business or you treat it like a campaign of warfare, whatever you do, but you treat it seriously. It's not like some hobby shit where you just flick through some things and then watch what people do and then nod your head and drive on and go back to your life. Nah, get your notepad out or your little typing device or your phone or whatever it is that you are creating your campaign on, and start creating stages and phases of the execution of this mission. So how do you write a book? You start doing your data collection and information gathering and knowledge building. Peruse through all the YouTube videos out there, people who already did this before. We're living in a day and age where technology and information is shared. It's open source. YouTube, everyone's sharing whatever. It benefits them. It builds their content base. It builds all that shit. It benefits you because you're getting information that they have. So information is being shared. It's mutually beneficial. This is a beautiful gem, so take advantage of it. Get the information from what other people's process are. What I did in 2018 when my book released is going to be very different from what you do, or possibly the same, who knows, but very different from what you do in 2025. See what type of technology and tools are out there that other people are using and can give you a play-by-play on their usage. And then you craft your own series of, you collect your series of tools that are going to help you in your path. You know what I mean? So start gathering the data and writing this stuff down. As you sit there and hear, they used this distributor or program. Write that down, because you're going to go research all this shit afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to ultimately compare and contrast a whole bunch of tools so you can pick the right tools for you to complete the job. It's that simple. So for me, print, how to write a book. I literally Googled that. Then I found out there's print on demand books. All right. What's the difference in the print on demand suppliers and all this, blah, 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 blah. So I start contrasting all of this. I'm approaching this like a campaign. So in the process, I'm committed to not spending nothing. And literally, I created this book, and this is the most beautiful part of creating a book, and that's why everybody can do it. Like literally anybody can do it. It costs zero. There's no expenses at all. It literally is just your mind, time, and energy and commitment. You can spend money, which I advise, but that's for you to figure out how and when in order to maximize the success. You know what I mean? But for me personally, the creation and my book being published took no dollars. I did everything. I did the writing, I did the editing, I did the photography, I did everything. And it was exciting. It was exciting to do that. It was exciting to sit there and know I'm about to rock you with the haymaker, and it costs nothing. That, you know what I mean? That type of shit excites me. But anyways, you start aggregating your tools and all the pieces and all the stuff you need in order to complete this mission. That's the phase you're in. And you're just studying, creating, drafting, boom. So there's that. That's the plan. The other side of the fence is that should jog. Like once you start seeing that all of this is doable and you're creating that, you're building the strategy side of the fence. Then you have to switch hats and go into the creative side of the fence. So now executing the book. For me, mine was nonfiction, and I was extremely committed to keeping it as truthful as I possibly could. So writing the story down, the actual events, and I could go into this. Like I said, I could make a very detailed step-by-step, but I'm going to save that for another video. To make a long story short, I wrote the entire events out exactly. Went through phones, got the exact sentences, got the dates, the times, the this, the that, the boom. I got the entire bones, and that's what I call it. It's like you're building a human being. I got the bone structure down, and it's only like 60 something pages. I think it was 67 pages was from start to finish, everything that I'm going to capture in the book. But it's like literally just bones. This happened this day. This happened, boom. This person said, I went here, I took this route, I did this, that happened, this happened, then that happened, these two dudes happened. It's like, these are the bones. I'm gonna build the meat and put the nerves and the emotion. I'm gonna bring it to life later, but I'm getting all this down now. So 67 pages. And while I'm doing that, you can sit there. It's going to stimulate your mind into thinking how you're going to create the bones and what this human being you're building is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? At least for me, that's how the process goes. And such a beautiful process, I'm telling you. You're going to learn so much about yourself. In the process, the reflections that you have as I'm detailing things, I'll get to that later. So you got your bones down. That's what? 67 pages is my situation. You take your hat off, go into this hat again. 67 pages, you start anticipating you're going to build boom, boom, boom. You're seeing the different sizes that you can print the book and all of that. And I'm jumping all over the place, but when you go to end up printing the book, You're going to pick what sizes the book's going to be, the font, the this, the that, and it's going to change the amount of pages that are in it. If I could do it over, would there be anything I did differently? Yeah, I would have cut Amazon out the fucking equation. Straight up. Fuck I need them for. Like, legit, they just gave validity. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's a lie. That's a lie. I wouldn't have did anything different, man. Seriously. That's a lie too. Yeah, I gotta think about this question. So the question is, if I could do it all again, would I do anything differently? Those are always hard to answer. Like, would you do something differently? You learn a lot, you know what I mean? So when I do it again, I could tell you what I'm gonna do differently, you know what I'm saying? But it's not something I would go back in time and change and all that type of shit. Like, I can't answer questions on magical scenarios. So I just tell you some of the things that I've thought of that I would do differently or set myself up for success better with a second go, a second book. I definitely would have website situated and business legitimate for me first. Like, have that already set up to receive payments, because my it's like drug dealing type payments is how, like, the book is so like drugs, bro. You know what I mean? I would legitimize it more. The Amazon thing, like I expressed, that's 60% going to them. So I need a different avenue directly for me. I don't need Amazon anymore. Like, I already created the buzz, but I still would use Amazon because I'm not losing anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not losing. You're not losing. I wouldn't do this if I was going to lose. You're not losing anything. It costs you nothing to put it on Amazon. You just lose profit. You know what I'm saying? So fuck Amazon, bro. Like, if it's for the money, fuck Amazon, bro. Like, what they legitimize you, you legitimize them. Do you. Create your own business. Like, create your centralized location to get your product. Come to you. Cut the middleman out. You know what I mean? Straight up. You already know what to do. You just don't know you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So these questions, people already know what to do. They just need like a push. They need a shove. They need to get kicked out the door to do it. You know what I mean? But you know what to do. Do what makes sense. So anyways, to answer the question, that's one thing I would do differently. If I were to do it again. The momentum. I didn't anticipate that the book was going to go as crazy as it went. So when it did, I could have followed up with anything, because the audience is I got the audience ear. When you have the ear, say something. You know what I'm saying? When you got the spotlight, use it for something. And there's other things that I definitely could have impacted the rest of the set with a lot crazier at that time. So the timing of things. Many factors, though, play into my personal situation, but for someone else, you know, when you got the momentum, run with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't really think of anything else. Oh yeah, the accounting side of the fence. I didn't anticipate that KDP or whatever was gonna split from Amazon. I think it was Kindle and Amazon were combined, or they were separate, and then Kindle and Amazon merged. Something like that happened during the time of my book, and they created a new system to track all of, like, this new thing that they became had its own accounting for sales and this, that, and the third. So I already have a book, and I already had my initial sales data and everything about all those transactions. But when it shifted over to this new shit, I lost it. I lost access to it. I lost everything. I have no way to get that data. You know what I mean? That shit fucked me up. But I would account for things a lot better so that I have that data. Like what, just data, you know what I'm saying? And how it was managed would have been done better. Possibly exploring distribution in bookstores and stuff like that. I didn't do any of that. You know what I'm saying? Everything been hand in hand. You know what I mean? Because I was doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like it all just seemed in my brain is taking like extra income. Well, that extra income end up making more than regular income. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you know, you live and you learn. You know what I mean? Shit, that's what this whole thing's about, man. The whole process, like writing my first book about my first trip, there's a lot of risk involved in both of those two things. You know what I'm saying? So the point is take the fucking risk because the reward is crazy. And this book really showed me, it's like once you are successful, you like, what the fuck else can I do? You like, I just did that. What about that? And the answer is whatever the fuck you want, that's what you could do. You just got to take the fucking risk. Calculate it so it's a calculated risk, but put all your ducks in a row and then it's still going to be leap. Motherfuckers be putting the ducks in row and then they keep adding one thing. I just need to blah, blah, blah. And then they don't do it. And then blah, blah, blah. Man, fuck all that. Take the risk. Squeeze the trigger. Just fucking squeeze. Pow. Real shit. When this book was released, I didn't know how. I kind of did. I didn't know how crazy the book was gonna sell. It could have gone either way. It could have been destroyed by the nation and they come and attack me, or it gains traction and then it's over. There was a lot of risk. So when it went that way, it went that way insanely. I would have had an audio book released at the same. I would have had the audio book available as well as the physical copies. This whole process has been a series of firsts. Like the trip, before the book came out, I made subsequent cross-country trips, but this is about the first one. So it's riddled with mistakes, but it's the first trip. It's the first book about the first trip. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of risks involved in both processes. And this is what this is all about. But there's so much reward from the risk. You got to take the risk. That's what this is all about. Literally, like everything about cross country and the bullshit with it, the creation of it, the story, this interview, everything is about you got to take the risk. You got to do it. You got to take the risk. Because once you do, and it's successful, you're like, what can I do next? What else can I do? And then you go and do that. You got to take the risk. Like if there's anything you can take from, you got to take the risk. You have to squeeze the trigger. So the question is, how long did it take to write the book? Like the timeline is what I'm assuming the inquiry is about. My shit took forever. The book came out in 2018 and the trip was, I think, 5 years before that. So you're talking 5 years. I'm telling you the process can be whatever you want it to be. You can get a book out in 3 weeks, dude. I'm dead. I'm not kidding. Like the process is yours. For me, you got to think, writing a book was never an objective of mine. It wasn't like something when I went out on the trip, I knew or was thinking the details of, it never crossed my mind ever that I was going to write a book, ever, period. So I take the trip, I come back, I go to some event shortly after. and I run into a bro. And the bros, because my story, like people in the nation have heard what was going on with me as it was going on. So my story's kind of out there. It's known, you know what I'm saying? Plus I'm a known person in my nation because I'm all, you know what I mean? At this time, I went into shadow mode. So a lot of new bros don't know me. You know what I mean? It's like the opposite now. But during this time, my name is crazy because I'm everywhere and I'm tagging them all the walls and all that nonsense. So the story's out there. So a bro sees me and he's like, yo, you should think of writing a book. He planted the seed right there. Now, maybe some weeks later, months later, I start looking up the process on YouTube, watching videos about how to write a book. It just, you know what I mean? I just start following that rabbit hole and it's intriguing me. And I'm like, wait, yeah, I got that. And I'm like, wait, I did that. Yo, I lived that. And it starts getting more realistic to me that I could sit there and do this. Meanwhile, though, I'm anticipating a mission overseas. So we training up for that. I do have a training mission, CONUS, like in the United States. That's going to be a 30-day joint, like some swamp-like environment type joint, right? So the day before I go to the 30-day training thing, I get into a situation at the bar. I got to hold them in my head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got a gash in my head and I got gauze on it and all that. So when I show up for training, they're like, hell no, you ain't going in the swamp. Like you're not going in them conditions for 30 days like that. Your shit's guaranteed to get infected. Guaranteed. It's going to be a bazillion degrees and it's super muggy, nasty. You in it. You know what I'm saying? Like you in it. So they end up using me in that training to orchestrate like flights in and flights out and injured personnel that got to get swapped out and stuff like that. So I had some time on my hands. So I get to writing the bone structure, like just the actual storyline, just getting it down. I start working the story and actually building it out over time as I'm learning the game of how to write books and stuff and this whole process. So it's just, I'm like intrigued by the pathway and everything I'm learning. And then I get to write and then I get revisions. Then it's like each stage is really exciting me. It's like, yo, can I get it done? Yes. Not only can I get it done, I can get it done for real. And then like for real, yo, this is a good book. Yo, and I keep revising it and it just keeps getting better. And I'm really getting into the groove of what it is now, merging in concepts and it's the reflection, yo, like there's certain things in a book I never talked about ever. I never mind and put it in a book. Like this shit I've never spoken about. You know what I'm saying? And now it's in a book. And now I'm researching and making sure I got the accurate data on that because the book had to be 1,000% accurate. Like that to the degree there's mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes like spelling joints and things that the reader's going to take as a mistake if they don't know. But if you know, you know. There's a lot of if you know in that book. And there's things that look like mistakes. They're not mistakes. Everything was thought out. You know what I'm saying? Everything was thought out. That's the beauty of writing it as opposed to bullshitting with it. But to answer the question, it took 5 years, but it doesn't have to. Like it can take 3 weeks and I'm not fucking with you. I know the process. So I'm speaking from understanding everything that has to happen. You can get it done 3 weeks. Whatever you want to do, whatever makes sense for you. So for me, 5 years. For you, answer the question. You know what I mean?